This happened about 5 years ago when I was 18 and living out of home for the first time while attending university in Australia. Instead of living on campus, I decided to get an apartment with some two friends of mine, all three of us girls, and we ended up with this sweet triple-story house not far from the university. I had the master bedroom. It was on the second floor facing the street, and it was long, like weirdly long for a bedroom that wasn't matched in width. When I first moved in, I had a lot of floor space on account of I couldn't put much furniture in without the room too narrow to walk through. The door to the room was at one end, and the other end, about 4 or 5 metres if I remember correctly, was the door to my private ensuite, and opposite that was the door to my private balcony, which, as it was on the second floor, and I was stupid, I never locked. Between the ensuite and balcony was my bed. Eventually, I filled the room with furniture, mostly bookshelves, which meant two things. First, that there was about 30 to 40 centimetre wide paths around my room with no other way around unless you started jumping on things. Second, that in order to make it seem less crowded, I stuck up a lot of mirrors. From any one point in the room, I could see myself reflected at least twice, sometimes 3 or 4 times. One night, I was in the shower and like usual, I hadn't closed my ensuite door fully. The vents were pretty terrible, so I liked to let the steam out while I was showering. If the door was open, I could see a little of my room from within the shower, and a little more if I angled myself just right and managed to catch a glimpse of one of my many mirrors. I was halfway through singing "Don't Fear the Reaper" when I happened to open my eyes and see, reflected in the mirror, a man in a red jumper laying under my bed. If you're ever going to piss yourself in fear, I fully recommend being in a shower at the time. He had his face turned away while he was scratching his head. If he hadn't chosen that moment to scratch, I probably would have made eye contact with him and given myself away. If I hadn't been a theatre student with "The Show Must Go On" branded on my heart, then I probably would have screamed and given myself away anyway. But instead, I just swallowed my fear and kept singing. I made sure to move further back in the shower. As well as that, I wouldn't accidentally catch sight of him again and risk being caught noticing him. Because of the narrow path through my bedroom and the fact that it was so long, there was zero chance that I'd be able to make a break for my bedroom door without him grabbing me. From where he was laying, he would be able to reach out and grab my ankle the second I stepped foot out of the bathroom. My phone was on my bed, so I couldn't grab that and call for help. Screaming from my housemates would probably end up with Mr. Under the Bed climbing out and murdering me before they could do anything, but I couldn't stay in there forever. Desperately singing the guitar parts of the song, I tilted the shower head away from me and grabbed my towel off the hook, wrapping it around me so that at least I wouldn't be naked when I emerged. I don't know if he wanted to murder me, I just see my vagina. But Mr. Under the Bed definitely saw some vagina that night because I threw open the door and immediately jumped and landed on the bed. He looked quite shocked as I passed over him. I bounced from the bed to the floor and pulled the balcony door open, ran out, and then scared the ever-loving shit out of some neighbours as I vaulted the railing in a towel while screaming about an intruder. My housemates were in the living room downstairs and saw me thaw through the air into what they assured me was a very majestic heap on the ground. My injuries were minor, and more importantly, my towel stayed on so I could count that out as a win. I explained the situation to them as they ran outside, and to the neighbours who then went to go look inside for the guy. Mr. Under the Bed had already made a break for it through the back door by the time they got there. We called the police and they found his jumper 2 doors down. Probably ditched because it was bright fucking red and very noticeable. Come on, Under the Bed guy. Get your shit together and wear dark clothes like a normal creeper. But not the man himself. 5 years later, and I've come to tell the story with less horror than I originally did. But now I'm compulsive about locking every door and window in the house, even if my housemates don't think that it's a big deal. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. You can also leave a comment below. All feedback, good or otherwise, is always appreciated. If you have any creepy stories of your own, or of any topics that you would like me to cover, feel free to send them in via any of my social media. You can find all links to my social media in the description below. Until next time guys, make sure you lock your doors, stay safe, and I'll see you next video.